Jim Meineker. And today I have the honor to introduce our guest speaker, Jim Meineker, who knows firsthand what it means to serve his country, both on the high seas and in the shadows of global security. James dedicated 4 years of his life to the United States Coast Guard from 1969 to 1973. As sole electronic technician aboard the 311-foot endurance cutter Unimac, he ensured the flawless operation of all onboard technology from radar at the mast peak to communications vital to the mission's success. As the ship and its brave crew navigated treacherous waters, surviving 4 hurricanes and saving lives while carrying out 23 search and rescue operations. Their efforts helped maintain order on the Grand Banks fishing grounds. Their Eastern Bloc countries, ships disguised as fishing vessels, sought to intercept and undermine U.S. communications. His expertise led him to a top-secret Navy school where he was trained to operate equipment and thus played a role in mapping the North Atlantic for thermoclines, critical work that allowed American subs to evade Soviet hunter-killer subs during the tense Cold War. But his service did not end there. In 2012, James answered his country's call once more. Because of his civilian career in radiologic devices, he was sought out by our government given the opportunity to serve once more by joining the Diplomatic Security Service, a specialized branch of the State Department. Operating in secrecy, he assisted teams dedicated to removing dangerous terrorists from the battlefield, ensuring that threats to our nation were neutralized before they could strike. Today, James enjoys a well-earned retirement in Campbell Hall, cherishing time with his wife, children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and spending time and money on his hobbies. But his commitment to country and service remains unwavering. Please join me in welcoming a dedicated patriot, a protector of American freedom, James Buzzsaw Meineker.
Guests, and my fellow patriotic Americans. I view the opportunity to speak to you today as a great honor. Many such speeches will be delivered today in remembrance of sacrifice made. Very few of these will be remembered tomorrow. I hold no delusions that my words will rise anywhere near the level of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. But just perhaps I may inspire some of you to understand just how strongly I feel about my flag. Today, we gather to honor a day that is more than just a holiday on our calendars. Memorial Day is not simply a time for barbecues, beach trips, or a long weekend, although those traditions are woven into the fabric of our American life. No, today is something far greater, far deeper. It is a day of remembrance, of gratitude, and of solemn reflection. It is a day when we humbly pause in an attempt to honor the men and women who paid the ultimate price for the freedoms we hold dear. We show this honor with parades featuring stirring marching bands. And with speeches at graveside ceremonies such as this. Yet it all feels so inadequate given the circumstances. What does Memorial Day mean to me? It means standing before you today with the constitutionally protected abilities to speak freely, to worship freely, and to live without fear, all because of the sacrifices made by brave souls who believed in this great nation. It means looking around at the everyday comforts of life, the laughter of children, the promise of opportunity, the resolve to foster peace within our communities, and understanding that these blessings are not accidental. They were fought for, blood was shed, they were defended, and they were secured by heroes who placed country above self. To me, Memorial Day is a personal event. It is not just about numbers, statistics, or dates in history books. It is about individuals, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers. There is a story behind each headstone. It is about those who raised their hands and swore an oath to protect our way of life, knowing full well that doing so might mean giving their lives in service of our flag. It is about families who received that dreaded knock on the door, those who buried their loved ones, and those who anguish today that they know not the final fate of their warrior and cannot accept closure because they are left without a body to bury and no gravesite to visit, as they have been recorded simply as missing in action. All these families awake every day with the sorrowful weight of loss, but yet tempered with the pride of knowing that their sacrifice was for something far bigger than themselves. Memorial Day is without a doubt a somber affair, but it is also, in my estimation, a celebration of life, lives of heroes given to make possible and make certain that the United States will survive and thrive, that in our struggle between good and evil, our worldwide friends and allies will look to us for leadership, all the while instilling abject fear in our enemies. We must never forget that freedom is never free. The price has been paid by Americans on so many battlefields around the world. It has been paid in the cities and the fields of Europe, the island atolls of the Pacific, the hills of Korea, the oppressive jungles of Vietnam, the desert sands of Iraq, the rugged mountains of Afghanistan, and so many other places where Americans have stood in defense of liberty. It has been paid in places where our troops knew only danger, but pressed forward nonetheless. In all of these instances, we never came as conquerors, but as liberators, and only ever asked for enough land to bury our dead heroes. So today, we stand in the presence of that beautiful emblem of our pride, Old Glory. Let us renew our commitment to be proud to honor these heroes, not just in words, but in action. Let us strive to care for our veterans, support their families, and educate future generations on the true meaning of service and sacrifice. Let us ensure that their legacies endure, that their stories are told, and that their valor is never forgotten, so that future generations will know of the sacrifices that have been made for them to ensure the continued survival of our nation. As we lay wreaths, visit memorials, and hear the mournful sound of taps, let us understand that the silence in those moments speaks louder than any words ever could. It tells the story of courage, of duty, of love for country that transcends time. It reminds us of those who never came home, and it urges us to live lives worthy of their sacrifice. There are many philosophical quotes attributed to Ronald Reagan, but there is one that, to me, stands far above all the others. Reagan famously stated, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day, we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was like once in a United States where men were free. Thank you for that eloquent reminder, Mr. President. So let us dedicate this day not to leisure alone, but to gratitude. Let us take time to thank those who served, to comfort those who grieved, and to remember especially those who gave everything. Let us strive to cherish and protect our precious freedoms for future generations. This, my fellow Americans, is what Memorial Day means to me. It is not just a date, it is a sacred tradition. It is a call to remember, it is a call to honor, and above all, it is a call to never forget. Thank you, and may God bless America.
Thank you, Jim. Stirring words. Jim, we appreciate those words.